Yeah, we would now commence session 1, Battlefield Menu at the Cutting Edge. The session is being chaired by Lieutenant General Anil Chet, PVSM, AVSM, former CISC, his headquarters ISD, IDS. We have DGIS here with us who will be giving a special address, and he will have to leave for some official engagement soon after. So we'll have him speak, and then he'll take a few questions, and then he'll excuse himself. So may I call the other panelists of this session on the dais, Shri R.K. Agarwal, Brigadier S.C. Sharma, Colonel K.P.M. Das, and Mr. Kalyan Ramadu. Kindly join us on the dais, please. May I hand over the proceedings to the chair, General Chet.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special session, and I will request Lieutenant General Matharu VSM to kindly come onto the stage and address the gathering over here. But before I request him to come on the stage and address you all, just let me briefly tell you as to his brief accomplishments and what is he doing. Lieutenant General Matharu was commissioned from the National Defence Academy and IMA Dehradun. He's done AMIE from MCME Secunderabad and Master of Science from Royal Military College, UK, and Master of Philosophy from Chennai University. He commanded a workshop in J&K, so he has the field experience. And has been involved with the EME battalion, which provides the repair cover to the or in the battlefield. And that is the session that we are addressing. He commanded a battalion, 601 EME battalion, during Op Parakram. He has been a Colonel GS, that is a staff exposure and an appointment, information tech and training aids in headquarter RTRAC, which is the command which deals with training. He was Brig EME, that is a high level appointment at 1 Corps, and subsequently was also looking after the operational logistics in the Southwestern Command. He has been an instructor at various places, including Botswana. As a general officer, he has served as MGEME, that is the highest level in the tactical battle area, Headquarter Eastern Command, providing the due support, and has also been the Additional Director General of the National Cadet Corps. He is presently serving as DGIS. The General Officer has been awarded the Vicious Seva Medal and the Army Training Command's Commendation Card. Could I request the General to please come and address the gathering over here?
Respected General Anil Chet, PVSM, AVSM, and the delegates who have come for the seminar, ladies and gentlemen, I have recently taken over as the DGIS. I do believe it's a very challenging task, which is in my hands, and would like to do my bit towards furthering and strengthening our country. I do understand that when you reach such levels, that it is not a simple process. It's a complex process. So when it comes to
put the first one.
So as I was saying, what I am going to say to you today is certain things which one has perceived. There's a lot of work which has happened in the DGIS over the years, and what I'm going to tell you today is what I feel we need to look at when I talk to the industry. Information system industry in India has moved forward, and with pride I can say that the world has noticed our achievement. Having been outside the country for 4 years, 3 years in Africa in the training team, and long back in 1986 in the Royal Military College of Science in Chivannam, when the computer I had used to run on an operating system called CPM, and it was an Amstrad PCW having 256K was the capacity, and I did my entire thesis on that. It worked pretty well. And this new animal was coming in the United Kingdom market called disk operating system. And suddenly you could buy that computer for something like, if I'm not wrong, 600 pounds, which is a princely amount, which is way beyond what I could possibly afford. But things were changing under my feet. I could sense it because CPM is not heard of now. So, but today we stand, I think, as a country where we are being noticed around the world. Our efforts towards improving the information system capabilities of the Indian Army are also bearing fruit. We are at the cusp of things, one senses it. However, still much needs to be done. Indigenous info system capability which is world class and which meets the requirements of the end user in the army is the need of the hour. The need is clear, palpable, existent. Extensive networks, a variety of sensors, and high computing power of hardware, along with efficient and effective applications, has made the battlefield more transparent than it ever was. We must have high speed applications which work on robust hardware and which have a low form factor. The hardware must have low form factor and can be used in field conditions. Conventional conflicts are likely to be relatively short with increased intensity. It follows that decision making will have to be very quick. I have not purposely used the word real time. Real time easy to do, but we must make it very, very quick. If we can make it real time, so be it. As fast as we can. And this can only happen if it is aided by automation. There is no other way. Simultaneously and non-linearity of operations of a high order places an unprecedented demand on decision making by commanders and staff. And since I have been in the rough end of things more than once in my life, I can vouch for that. This decision making process necessitates development and deployment of agile, secure and efficient software applications. Achieving information dominance in a secure manner will undoubtedly give us an edge over the adversary. In an environment of ever increasing threat, it is essential that we look for indigenous security solutions wherever we can. We have grouped our applications as shown in this slide. Operational information systems deal with decision-making information systems. These increase situational awareness and enable faster decision making. Management information systems, as we see it in the Army, is automation of peacetime applications which make our functioning quicker and effective. Logistic management systems, information systems, assist both management and operational functioning of the logistics staff and logistics arms and services of the Army. And the systems work on an extensive and multifaceted network having a variety of media. Now, it's very important for us to understand that any application which is coming to us cannot be designed for the internet. That will be the first thing we'll trip on if we get into that mode. It has to be an application which will run on this multifaceted media, which can go from a huge pipeline to a tap which is just dripping, to give an analogy. So this is how we have to think when we look at applications. Now, what are the needs? The applications which we are working on are being developed in a variety of manners. There is, however, a need to work towards enhancing our capability in certain areas. Now, many of the things I'm going to say, people in the audience will say, how so many years, so much of coding effort, hence, no doubt. But things are changing, as I said, under our feet. I mentioned that. And this is the time to maybe grab our opportunities. So having a totally homegrown operating system will strengthen the security of our system. I think there's no argument on this. Use of both proprietary and open source operating systems demand hardening. CDAC has already evolved the Linux-based BOSS operating system, Bharat Operating System Solution, and it's in its flavor which has come out, the latest one, version 5, which is called Anokha. It's developed, evolved very well. So this enthuses me. I'm going back to those days of 1986 when DOS took away CPM from under my feet, to believe that we may see the development of a homegrown operating system not too far away. Linux Torvalds made two things. The Linux kernel which we still use, and the Git, which everybody is using, is all open source. We need a Linus Torvalds in India, and we have to enable the environment for him to happen. The next key requirement is the chip manufacturing capability. I know people may say this is something, maybe we are like going to the moon, but we have now reached the Mars. So if we can reach Mars, then we can look at this. Establishing of a world-class chip fabricating facility within the country. I'm not, note the word, I'm not talking about it being indigenous, or it has to be, we have to create an environment where we somehow within the country, this will be of great value to us. Security, of course, needs no emphasis. Encryption was talked. I understand that there are good solutions available. But this technology, which is non-resource intensive, and we should be able to, somehow if we can give threat-based security to our systems, then maybe we are start succeeding. So we need to tap whatever we have here. That is the sense I would like to give to audience. And of course, a high quality indigenous database management systems and an enterprise search engine application which can assist automation of our work will be immensely useful. Now, we have a huge, you see, below these, all of this which I have talked about, under the MIS, below the MIS level, we have got a huge amount of space where we can work in automating our systems. You know, which is unaddressed, I think. It's a sort of green ground. And though it may not be very juicy in terms of very big numbers, huge size, but it is in big in numbers. If we are able to get into this, there's a crying need to automate across the board in the Indian Army, which we are struggling with. So I am hinting towards that. When you have a general purpose DBMS and you have a general purpose enterprise search engine, it is maybe overkill for us. So we are willing to share our domain knowledge so that we can develop a particular type of system which suits us. Now this brings me to this issue of gap analysis, and we look to the industry to keep us informed about their technology capabilities. This is something as a DGIS I am quite blind. I do not know what you are capable of. I'm trying to gather it, but I'm still not being able to reach. This would aid us to make a realistic assessment of what is available readily. Compiled and collated details of capability of our industry in the field of chip manufacture, enterprise software applications, enterprise search engines, DBMS operating systems, and encryption. We obviously have done a lot of work. If it is given to us, this will allow us to clearly define the technology gaps which need to be addressed, and also tells us what to pitch for. You know, it's a good planning tool which we get when we just bend our brains on it and see what we can get. You know, so it's a good material to work on. The technology perspective and capability roadmap, which is available on the MOD site for the armed forces, is available. I have been through that. The one which is now presently is April 2013. So what I can promise you is that when we come to the domain of IS, we will try to give a more clearer heading there. The beacons should be more clearer. And so that is what we intend doing. We'll keep working on it. This is a promise I make to you. We feel that FICCI can be an effective platform to compile, collate, and present information related to various information system fields in our industry. That's the sense I get after interacting with everybody here. So we obviously have a huge potential to utilize our industry's capability in defense information system requirements. For this, we urge FICCI to step in to provide detailed inputs to us about our industry's capabilities and become an effective central forum for this. These identified technology gap areas will need to be addressed through a focused action to enhance our capabilities in critical aspects. There are existing and well laid out procedures which need to be followed to progress information system project development activities. We will, what we bring in from our side is that we will try to do our job in as detailed a manner as possible so that the procedures are smoothened out. And when our bit we do in great detail, then it eases out the process. The procedure is there, but the process gets smoothened if we do our job in as detailed a manner as possible. That is what we will try to bring to the table. But again, industry through FICCI needs to assess technology capability and gap identification. This is a thing which I am not getting right now. This must be followed by structured research and development to plug the identified gaps. I know this is, when I say, it's easy for me standing here to say structured research and development because it means committing a certain portion of your revenue towards that. Now there are processes which have come about, like the MAKE, which was alluded to, which we already there, which is there in the DPP 2013, wherein the government is going to contribute towards this effort. So let's see how it moves forward. But certainly over here, we are looking at we cannot do without research and development. That is the bottom line. How we make it happen is a moot question. Maybe we need to find an answer to that. But without this, we will not be reaching maybe where we are wanting to be. So there's a clarity which is there in this. No, I'm not able to give a solution, but there are certain things which nobody knows solutions to maybe. But yes, the intent is there. We need to work on this direction. Improvement in existing procedures is an ongoing process. You have seen that this has happened over the years. Benchmarking is a must. We need to benchmark. We need to benchmark our costing. We need to benchmark our standards. Therein we also have to play a role. I realize that. I must set down, lay down what is the goalpost, so to say. So let us see in terms of protocols, in terms of structure, in the way they talk to each other, what should your application deliver to us so that it talks to our other applications. I can carry on about this on the technical side of it, but this is the sense I want to give, that benchmarking is the key then we know where we can, what we need to do, and industry should utilize the DPP and DPM routes. I know we know these. That is the way we have to move forward. Now, there is an urgent need of software experts who can assist us in developing compact applications. Now, this concept which is there in the open domain of minimal viable project, deliver fast so that you know where you are heading. In this space, we have not worked on this. Supposing I get a requirement for a branch to produce something, if I can give them a minimal viable project done very quickly, then I know where to head, and it clarifies my manner in which we should grow. So there is this software expertise we need, and we in DGIS will play a role in harnessing the creative energy to provide need-based quick solutions for information system requirements of the Indian Army. How we will work out, we will work on this, but we need to do that. We need to move forward. And in our projects, we follow a software first policy. As it was mentioned earlier, the technology is moving so fast that sometimes when you are working on a software is going to take time. By the time we are able to finalize that, because the complexity of what we are working on, the hardware technology has already changed beneath. So if we get into the software first mode, and with the computing power which is now available to us, then that make sure that when we implement it, then we have got the right hardware in place. So this is what we follow in the DGIS. We go for this software first. So if you are looking at R&D, our strength is software as a country. Why can't we work on R&D? We've got a huge pool base of very talented young people in our country today, because we are the world leaders in this. I mean, so like earlier, if you wanted to do research, maybe in, well, I am a vehicle specialist. Let me give you that surprise. I'm basically, my master's is in vehicles. If I was to do research in how to design a tank, I'll go to the Royal Military College of Science or somewhere and learn it. We have also the capacity. But now if somebody was to do research in maybe software, he will tend to come to India. Large number of people will tend to come here. So here we are now so I feel that if an R&D of software first approach can be done, then a lot of things will start falling into place. And this may not be that revenue intensive. I'm nobody to say that, but there's a sense I get. In the end, I will say that we look forward to FICCI giving us specific inputs about the information system capabilities of our industries, which will be a useful document for our future planning. With that, I end what I have to say. I have to go somewhere, so I will take on the questions now as I was permitted by General Chair.
Thank you, General. Thank you for being the beacon of hope amidst the change which is occurring, and imploring the FICCI to be the platform which will usher in the change. Gentlemen,